Hi folks, hope you're well, and you join me today in the wonderful Lake District, and I've popped over for a couple of days because the weather's quite still these next couple of days. Although the weather's not great, I'm going to be concentrating on some lovely black and white photography these next couple of days, and the conditions, I hope, are going to be great for that. So at the minute I'm at the edge of Derwent Water. And it's quite funny, you know, I came here a couple of years ago to photograph the jetty here, and I couldn't photograph it because there's a couple of storms that were here before I came a couple of years ago, and a tree had fallen into the lake here and obstructed the view of the jetty, so I couldn't photograph it. I've come down this time to photograph the jetty, and it's snapped off, unfortunately. I don't know what's gone on, but it's snapped off, and it's left a little bit of the end of the jetty in the lake here, which I quite like actually, funnily enough. So that's going to be, I think that's going to be my image this morning. It's very, very still, and it's going to be really conducive for black and white photography, I think, this morning. So I'm going to be wandering around the lakes these next couple of days with this still weather, some lovely black and white photography, so I hope you can join me. Folks, I've got my composition set up. Initially I was at the edge of the water there and I had my wide angle lens on. I just couldn't frame it properly. What I'm trying to do is have this broken off jetty right in the centre of my composition, in the foreground. Probably going to do a square crop, and I just won't gain enough height to keep this end of this jetty in this white area of the lake here. One of the posts was intersecting the reflection of the mountains in the background there, so I've had to get some elevation to get that whole jetty into this lightened part of the lake. So I think it's really important when I turn it to black and white, that's really going to stand out against this water here. So you can just see the mountains in the background, and I'm loving the horizon there with the trees and the islands in the far distance there. I think it's going to look beautiful in black and white, and I've got some help with some little ducks on the jetty there that are adding a bit of detail, and there's also a rock on the jetty there as well, so I really like that. Settings wise, I'm at ISO 64, I'm at 70mm on my lens, and it's given me an exposure time of 100th of a second. It's funny, you know, when you come down to these locations that have been photographed to death, and you're trying to make original compositions up or trying something different, and then you come across a scene that you've never been before, like the broken jetty, and it's funny, it just changes the whole situation and gives you original images anyway because of what's happened down there, which is great. I think earlier in my photographic career, I'd have been really not happy about that and probably left it and not even looked at the broken jetty in the scene there. But as time goes on, you learn to make do with what you've got and try and make compositions out of it instead of dismissing it altogether. Well, that's a lesson to be learned, isn't it? So I'm going to get up to my van and have a cup of coffee and then continue on my little adventure in the lakes. Absolutely beautiful. It's teeming it down with rain, but it's so still and serene. I love that. I absolutely love that. So I'll see you in 2 ticks. Well, hello. I'm stuck in the van because of the weather. I left Derwentwater a couple of hours ago, and it's now mid-afternoon, and it's just not stopped raining all this afternoon. Forecast for showers, but they're not materialised, so I'm just waiting it out. Forecast says to stop raining about 7 o'clock, hoping that it'll be earlier than that. Sunsets at 10 to 8, so it's cutting it a bit tight, that, for what I want to do. Might have to go into tomorrow with this part of the shoot. And I've travelled from Derwentwater up to Crummockwater, which is about 40 minutes away. And there's some particular locations that I want to visit, and I think these black and white photographs will really work well. So yeah, just waiting it out, and we'll see how we get on a little bit later. Right, finally got out. It's around 4 o'clock, and the rain stopped. Fantastic. And there's still a bit of reflections going on in the lake here. Just be careful here because it's quite treacherous. See? Whoop. Yeah, and there's still quite a bit of detail in the sky there, so that's a real plus for me for doing these black and whites. So I'm scouring this lake edge at Crummockwater, and what I'm going to be looking for is simplicity, a bit of texture, some form and shapes in my images. So that's, for me, it's going to be a bit treacherous here again, just bear with me a sec. That for me makes a great black and white photograph, landscape photograph anyway. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be scouring this water's edge and see if I can find some simple shots with some form and shapes. And as soon as I find something, I'll run you through it and tell you why I've chose it. So yeah. Right guys, I've got my composition set up here, and what I've come across is this rocky outcrop in this lake here. You see that? And I'll show it on my camera, what I'm looking at, my composition. And basically, you've got this lovely textured rocky outcrop. There's three rocks in this lake here in my foreground, and there's some beautiful texture on it, and some little green mosses interweaving in the cracks of the rocks there. So, and that sort of juts out in between these two mountains. I've got a mountain on my left hand side and one on my right, and I made sure that the top of my left hand side mountain is right at the top left hand side, so it sort of cascades down into the centre, and same on the other side, and this rocky outcrop points right in the middle of the both these mountains here. Unfortunately, there's no reflections. The wind's picked up a little, so we're not going to get any of that, but I think with these ripples in this lake, it might help me out actually. It might help me out when I have to convert it to black and white. So these textures in this rocky outcrop are really helping when I convert it to black and white, give it some texture. And these ripples in the lake here are going to help me as well. I made sure that this rocky outcrop is in this lighter part of the lake and not where the mountains are being reflected. Well, not being reflected, but if you get what I mean, it's a bit darker that side of the lake. So I made sure that's out of that. So it's straight in the centre, pointing right in between the two mountains. And I'll put it on the screen for you, my composition, to show you what I'm talking about. So yeah, there's shape in this image, there's texture, there's light and dark areas which are conducive to black and white photography in my opinion. So I'm going to go ahead and take this shot. I've got 1.2 graduated filter to tone out the sky a bit, and at f10 with a shutter speed of 100 to the second. So yeah, let's see how this one comes out. Right folks, my next composition is a classic, and it's been photographed numerous times, but it's always best to get your interpretation of it. And it's the first time that I've come here and photographed these trees, and I think today is a perfect day to shoot them in black and white with this lovely sky. They've sort of silhouetted into that background there, the trees. Beautiful they are, absolutely beautiful. They're just placed there to photograph in my opinion. They're absolutely stunning. I've got in the foreground, just before the trees, I've got this lovely grasses, and there's not a breath of wind, not a breath of wind. I've got after the trees, I've got the sliver of the lake there, and then what I've tried to do is put these trees in the centre of my frame, but I'm making sure that the branches are not hitting this right hand side of this mountain and the left hand side of this mountain, so it sits right in the centre there, right in the centre. And then in the backdrop there's another mountain and peak, and the sky in this image also takes precedent. So I'm going to put a 1.2 graduated filter on that, just give it some more mood for black and white. And I'm shooting at f9, and it's giving me an exposure time of 1/100th of a second. So yeah, I think it looks absolutely sweet this. First time I'm taking a photograph of it, and it's a pleasure to photograph it. So I'll go and take my shot and I'll pop it on the screen for you. lovely evening. Just peace and quiet. Absolutely beautiful. I've really enjoyed today. I love black and white photography, it's one of my favourites, along with long exposures and coastal photography. So calling it a day today. I'm going to carry on tomorrow. I know it's been quite a long video today, but I'm going to continue tomorrow on the black and white theme, I think. Weather-wise, improves tomorrow a little bit. Same type of wind speeds though, so I'm looking forward to that. And I'm just camping in my van up the road there, a couple of miles up the road outside of Cumnock Water this evening. I'm not sure, I might get up for sunrise. I'm not sure yet. I'm still I'm on holiday this week and I need to get some rest because I'm a postman and I walk quite a lot. So we'll see if I'll get up for sunrise. Whether it be sunrise or not, it'll be still black and white photography, so hope you can join me then. And I'll tell you what, I've really missed my dog today. I really have. Absolutely missed her so much. Yeah, she's a beauty. She's a beauty. Anyway, so we'll see you tomorrow, all being well. Thanks for your support. So welcome back if you've stuck with me this far. It's day 2 in the Lake Districts for this black and white photography trip. And as you photographers will know, you'll know this location. It's at Buttermere, and I've just come up the side of the path here, and it's a glorious day. It didn't forecast this, to be fair. It's forecast to be a bit cloudier than this. But I'll take it. I'm still going to be doing black and white anyway. We've got some wonderful reflections here this morning, and I'm in this particular shot. It's quite a well-known, well, it's very, very well known. The little house there on the ridge with the trees all in line drawing from it, and some wonderful reflections in the lake here. I'm not going to use a tripod for this shot. There's enough light for it to be handheld, and yeah, it's really beautiful. Probably best to come a bit earlier, to be fair, but I couldn't get out of bed in time. I was a bit tired last night because the sun is just straight in front of me at the minute, and it's not giving the greatest of contrast, but I'm sure I can eke it out in post. So it's the classic shot, sort of a mirror image. I'm going to be sort of, the composition is the line of the trees and the house there is going to be right in the centre of my image. So we've got the background on the top half and then this reflection on the bottom half here, handheld. Yeah, I'll take it. Right folks, I've just literally, this is my next composition, I've just literally come about 10 yards up this path here, and to be fair today, you couldn't take a bad photograph. It's absolutely beautiful, it really is. This image caught my eye because obviously the reflections, but there's on the other side of the Buttermere there, there's a copse of trees, probably more than a copse of trees, on my right hand side and on my left. On the right hand side they've got a green tinge to them, and I think on the left, the trees on the left hand side of the silver birch, so there's a bit of contrast there which I quite like. And then on both sides of this these copse of trees, the silver birch side and the green side, I don't know what these trees are called, the green ones, but there's a wall that backs around both sets, and then it's mirrored in the lake here, so it gives like a sort of an eclipse type thing. So that's drawn my eye to it. That's drawn my eye to the image, and of course all these reflections that are going on at the moment, and I'm getting a bit of light that's coming from the left hand side of my composition, and I've got a lovely backdrop there, these mountains in the backdrop. Sorry, but I don't know what the mountain's called. I'll have to look it up. But and there's also, it's given a bit of detail, there's also a waterfall in the background there as well. So it's absolutely beautiful, this. I really love this composition. So same again, I'm putting my composition right in the centre for the reflections. Absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to go ahead and take my shot. Handheld again, ISO 64. That's 100mm on my 70 to 200 camera lens. So yeah, beautiful. Right guys, this is going to be my final composition of this trip. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and this is probably my favourite composition that I've done on this trip as well. Absolutely beautiful. So what I've got here, I've got a lovely rope that takes you into the scene, and these lovely different sized rocks that are arching into this pole here where the rope is attached. So I'm using that as my foreground obviously, and then there's some lovely rocks in the base of this lake that you can see as well. This area here, the rocks and the poster, I'm making sure that it's in the lighter area of this composition, so it's not intersecting the reflection of the mountain in the darker area there. So there's a split there. Reflections are absolutely stunning. There's some lovely dappled light hitting that mountain now, and I've tried to keep away from the classic shot this time, and I've taken my composition over to the right to include this mountain on my right hand side, which includes also the tree line there on the left of my composition. I've still got the little tree in my the little house in my composition as well. So all this put together is really making a stunning image for me. Absolutely love it, and it's going to be I think it's going to be one of my favourites. Yeah, I'm going to take this shot. Absolutely stunning. Right folks, that's me done for this episode of landscape photography. Thoroughly enjoyed my 2 days, and I hope it's inspired you to do a bit more black and white landscape photography. Just sick of seeing colour basically, just to do something a little bit different, and I think it's black and white photography is a little more intimate in my opinion anyway. So hope you've enjoyed the video, and hit that subscribe button if you've enjoyed it. I'd really appreciate that, and keep the thumbs up coming. That'd be great. Get your comments down below about black and white photography. Tell me what you like about it. Are you genuinely interested in black and white photography? Do you do it all the time? Or is it something that you do like me now and again? I'd love to hear your comments. So until next time, I'll see you later, guys. Take care of yourselves.